Welcome to People's Blessing Show, where conversations spark, ideas ignite, and perspective collide. Get ready for engaging discussions, captivating guests, and thought-provoking insights that will leave you inspired. From current events to personal stories, this is People's Blessing Show with Reverend Blessing Ajayi.
Welcome to People Blessing Show. My name is Reverend Blessing Ajayi. At People Blessing Show, we inspire, we educate, we encourage, we motivate. I want you to meet my guests.
Hello, my name is Juliet Creary. I'm a registered nurse. I specialize in the area of long-term care. I'm a women empowerment specialist, and I'm an author. I have a women's organization called My Sisters, Our Stories, and I'm excited to be here today.
This is People's Blessing Show with Reverend Blessing Ajayi.
Welcome to People Blessing Show. Today I'm very thrilled to have our honorable guest, Juliet Creary, on the show today. And I want to let everyone to know that we have an inspiring story to communicate to you, as Juliet is going to dive us into her book called 7 Life Lessons Leading to Your Purpose. We are actually talking about the purpose which God have called our wonderful sister, my friend, Juliet Creary. Creary, how are you?
I am great, thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on stage today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I know it has not been easy to bring you down here, but
right.
Finally you made it.
Yes.
So you're welcome to this wonderful episode of People Blessing Show with you. And tell me, we are talking about your book today, right?
Yes, we are.
So tell me about what is the story behind this book, this wonderful book of yours.
My goodness, you know, this book really is about an immigrant's journey.
Wow.
It's a story of my life. There are 7 chapters which has captured some important aspects of my life, 7 lessons, and I wanted to share my story. I wanted to share what led to my purpose. So that's really the gist of it. I came here as a child. I actually lived on a farm till I was 10, right in the country. I mean, it was so rural that we didn't, there's no running water. We had radio instead of television. And so it was quite a culture shock to come straight from the country to Toronto. You know, so I left the country. I went to Kingston, which is the capital of Jamaica. I was born in the Caribbean. And then I came to Canada. So that was very interesting to have that
At what
journey.
age were you when you came to Canada?
I was 10 years old.
Oh, with your parents?
My mom, as you know, with a lot of Caribbean parents, she came here first.
Okay.
And, I attempted to make some, to try and get a better life, a better situation for me. And so the opportunity presented itself where I was able to come. And so I joined her. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a journey, and I know every one of us, we can identify with that as an immigrant.
Yes.
We came here, even when we don't know our purpose, but God brought us to a journey that you have to know, what am I born to do? Tell me,
exactly.
at what point that you now realize that you need to discover your purpose?
Well, I think it was always a lingering yearning of mine. But honestly, I was so busy. I was busy helping my family, my husband's family, my children. I was just busy. And I think a part of the distraction, a part of maybe hiding away or lack of clarity in my journey was this distraction, this busyness. And so I wasn't able to, I didn't allow myself to be still enough to focus on what was necessary to find my purpose.
Okay.
Yes.
So what were the challenges?
The challenges in finding my purpose? Or
Yeah, there must be something that brings you around to realize that, wow, I need to find my purpose.
Well,
And what are these things? Tell us the purpose and everything.
There was a pivotal time in my life, actually when I was 44, that when I was busy, like I said, living everybody else's life, and I found myself ended up in the hospital with an aneurysm in my head. I'd been having headaches, and I kept ignoring them, and I would drink some coffee and take some Advil, and that would take the pain away. But I didn't really realize, I didn't recognize that I was having headaches every day until that pivotal time when I ended up in the hospital with what they call a brain bleed or an aneurysm, and I was so surprised, but that really propelled me into recognizing and realizing I'm a registered nurse by profession, and so I know that people die for less than that. So when I recovered from this aneurysm, when the doctors were surprised, the nurses were surprised that I recovered, I realized that my life had been spared for a reason, and that I need to stop running from my purpose. I need to be still and spend that time and find my purpose. And sometimes when you are too busy in life, and God has a plan for you, and I believe that God has a plan for each and every one of us, whether we choose to pursue that plan, whether we choose to find out what it is, He does have a plan. And if you don't stay still enough to find that plan, I believe that God can stop you to make you be still. And I really feel that that's what happened in my life. And so when I was in the hospital on my back and questioning God, why am I here? I remember a pastor, a friend of mine's son, that's a pastor. He came to visit me, and he said, do you mind if I read the scripture and anoint your head and your feet with oil?
At that time, have you given your life to Christ?
Yes. I grew up in the church.
Okay.
I've always had a relationship with the Lord. I gave my life to Christ when I was a teenager. Yeah. I grew up in the church. I knew of God, but I started a relationship with Him when I was a teenager.
Wow.
But you can have a relationship just like we have a relationship with our parents, but we get busy doing our own things, and we ignore direction.
In fact, not to cut you short, but I've realized that God has been great in many of our lives.
Yes.
In the sense that, having doing this, almost all the people that I came across, they always share how they were born into the church, and how they go through the journey with their parents. So that tells me that, our lives from the beginning, your life has been evolve around things of God.
100%.
So I have no doubt why God led you to that moment where you discovered this purpose. So
yes.
I wanted to knock it on the nail. Let's find that purpose.
When I was in the hospital and in the ICU, and this gentleman came, and I grew up Baptist, and we were very, very conservative. But I had recently started going to a Pentecostal church, and they worship on a different level, and it was exciting. And so when he said he wanted to anoint my head and my feet with oil, that was a little bit foreign for me. But listen, I was open to all kinds of anointing.
That was right in the hospital then, right?
Right in the hospital. And
ordinary you would say no.
I would be like, well, you can pray, but I don't know about this oil. But honestly, he anointed my head, my feet, but the pivotal point for me was when he read Psalms 46, verse 10.
Wow.
Which is, be still and know that I'm God. And honestly, that was a time for me, because I didn't know what it was to be still. I didn't know what it was to be in that quiet place and listen to God. And so that moment, as soon as he read that scripture, I knew I was there. I knew that I needed to be still. And I recognized that I'm not saying God put me in the hospital, but He allowed me to be there so that I can see, I can listen, so I can hear what He has to say. Yeah.
Everyone need that.
Yes. Yes. So that
So
was a
emotional,
pivotal.
though.
that was. I'm telling you, there are no words. That was a time for me, but that just really changed the situation in my life. That allowed me to focus on God, and I mean, because I didn't even have to have surgery. The nurses were surprised. The doctors were surprised.
Wow.
You know, the area between my brain and my skull at the back was full of blood.
Wow.
You know, and so
It's miraculous.
it was a miracle, and I don't. I appreciate the fact that God spared me, and I recognize that He spared me for a reason.
For a reason.
You know, and to this day, every time I wake up, before I even come out of bed, I thank God that He gave me a wake-up call.
Second chance.
Second chance. Chance to do what He
Fulfill
wants
His
me to
purpose.
do. Time to find that purpose, and not just find the purpose, but live the purpose.
Live the purpose.
Live the purpose.
In parts.
Yes. So that from that moment, the seed was planted to write a book.
I'm even feeling like crying. Like,
Oh my goodness! It was something, because when I think about the grace.
the grace.
As a nurse, I see that people die for so much less, and the fact that He spared my life, I just don't know at the time, you know. But I'm grateful, and I'm thankful
to God. That's a great experience, though.
Yes,
I know
yes.
what we can learn from this, that this experience shaping your life. You know, to realize how great God is in your life.
Yes.
Especially at the point whereby you don't need to you do go through the surgery. You know, that's another big hit of it.
Yes.
Realizing that when we walk with God, when we trust in God,
Yes.
you know, He will be able to do the miracles He planned for us.
Exactly.
You know, He has planned for you already. He wanted to demonstrate that miracle and needed you to be still with Him, right? And I believe at that point, you release, you surrender to Him.
100% I surrender. I mean, when I look back, and that situation brought me back to reflect on my life, to see all the different areas in my life where God just opened the door for me. I mean, even in my nursing, I've always kind of protest being a nurse. My mother encouraged me to be a nurse. My mother is a retired nurse, and I didn't really want to be a nurse. And
we're gonna come back to that. Right. I want you to tell her that's the purpose. It's part of the purpose.
100%
you know,
is part of the purpose.
Viewers, you can hear from the horse's mouth, the queen, you know, the great woman of God that have discovered her purpose. So you can see that God did something unique that brought her to that purpose, which I knew that every one of us have to connect with that. We have purpose, and God created us for that reason. So stay tuned. We'll be back to hear the next stage of the journey. Thank you.
This is People's Blessing Show with Reverend Blessing Ajayi.
Hello, welcome back to the show. Yeah, I want us to continue from where we stopped, and I want you to know that this show, we're going to experience the power of faith, resilience, passion, and I want you to stay as we ride on. Okay, Juliet. As we previously discussed about the inspiration behind this your book. Yeah, you've told us how you came about this book, but now we want to know the lessons.
The lessons.
What are these lessons you want us to learn from?
Okay. Well, you know, this is actually more than a book. There are 7 chapters with a lesson in each chapter. And at the end of each chapter, there's an opportunity for the reader to do some self-reflection. So they're able to journal, think back on their own lives. For example, I'll just tell you, for example, the first lesson is the power of words and their lasting impact. You know, that was my introductory to racism.
Okay.
Because remember, I came from a place, a small little town, where everyone looked like me, talked like me, sound like me, ate the same food as me. We were all the same. And then I come to this big city where everyone is different. So a certain word, the N word, I'd never heard before until the first day of school. So, you know, so
Which page are we now?
that's chapter 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so the power of words and its lasting impact.
Okay.
Chapter 2 is talking about following your heart no matter what. I met my husband when I was 16 years old.
Really?
And we have been married now for, my goodness.
Follow your heart.
Yes, so follow your heart. And we've been married now for almost 40 years.
Really?
So,
and the bond is still strong because
the bond is still
because you followed your heart.
Because I followed my heart.
Did you hear that?
Oh my goodness. And so it's just talking about, you know, I remember before I met my husband, I had a very specific list as to the type of man that I wanted, you know, and I wanted someone that loved God. I wanted someone that loved me more than I loved him. That's probably selfish, but you know, as a
you
woman,
are not doing the good thing, though.
as a woman, it's important to want
actually.
that. And then of course I wanted I'm a black woman. I wanted a tall black man. I wanted a dark man.
Awesome.
And so I have to laugh. God has a sense of humor. My husband loves God. He loves me. But you know, he's a little bit of a fair guy. So I said 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Get everything.
And chapter 3, it's talking about, you know, when faced with an obstacle, go over it, through it, or under it. And that chapter was meaningful to me. That was about when I went through nursing school. I did a lot in nursing school. I went to nursing school single. By the time I was finished, I was married. I had a child. All before finishing, you know, and I was the only student to transfer to another college, but ran into a significant obstacle, and there was a preceptor there that tried to fail me because I stumbled, almost made one mistake, and so I ended up writing her an 8-page letter. I had to have some tenacity in that chapter, and I had to fight for myself, but I did.
I want us to look at this because I saw something. It says, when you face with an obstacle, go over it, through it, or under it.
That's correct.
Please explain that.
Because sometimes you come up to in life, you come up to an obstacle and you try to figure out, how do I navigate myself around it? Well, you might have to go over it. And if it's too high, maybe you can go under it.
Exactly.
And if that doesn't work, go around it.
You can't survive.
And if not, you might even have to push right through it. So you got to try everything to get to the other side of that obstacle.
That's true.
Because that's life, right?
That's life. Fight it.
Fight it. And then, of course, number 4, the unexpected thunder. Know your body and recognize the changes. That certainly was the time of my, the bleed. Aneurysm. Number 5, recognize God's grace and depend on Him. Let me tell you about God's grace.
Tell me about that. I want to know about
His grace. I mean.
So the number 4 says, as unexpected thunder.
Yes.
Know your body and recognize changes. What thunder is that?
When I had the bleed. And all the signs
during the
there.
situation.
During the situation. All the signs was there, but I wasn't recognizing it. Again, I was too busy. I was too busy.
I know.
And nothing happens overnight. We have to be in tune with our body. It's our body. We have to be in tune with this body so that when there's changes, recognize it and get it checked out.
Yes.
Get it checked out.
Yes, this is a very important thing to focus on also. You know, just like this morning I was talking about, there's some things we need to change. We shouldn't drive as our body carries us. We know that body can be tired at a certain point in time of our lives. Yes. Not when it's too late.
Exactly.
So it takes people like you now that went through that experience, telling those who are not there yet to understand, know your limits.
Yes.
No matter how strong you are.
Yes. When the body, before I would be tired and I would push through, I drink an extra cup of coffee and I would keep going. No. Now when I'm tired,
You rest.
I rest. Because you cannot give from an empty cup.
That is it.
You cannot give from an empty cup.
You're right.
And then, of course, it was all about chapter 5, depending on God's grace, just recognize Him for who He is. And when you are flat on your back in the hospital, all you have is His grace.
His grace.
All you have is His grace. And then, of course, chapter 6, learn to be still, my God. When he read Psalms 46, verse 10, be still. Immediately I knew why I was in the hospital. That I needed to be still.
I know that He is your God.
I know that He's God. You can have a head knowledge of God.
Everything.
But it's the heart. It's the heart. And that experience helped me to reconnect with the heart. Yeah. And then, of course, the final one is gratitude and purpose. Gratitude and purpose. Okay. So you asked me for what is my purpose?
Yes.
After all of that, what is my purpose, As a woman and gone through all these different cycles in my life with love, with marriage, with children, with career, with
community, everything.
Community, sickness, all of this. I've met a lot of women that, talk about things that they wish they've always wanted to do, wish they could do. And I think this thing that you wish for and think about is your purpose that God has put in your heart.
Exactly.
And for me, I've always been a woman who likes to encourage other women to draw out her best self, to whether that be to help her to how to feel good about herself, how to look good, how to lean on God, how to depend on God, whatever it is, just to help that woman. My purpose is to support women, and I know that. And so I have to laugh because even in my nursing, I'm a person who loves fashion, of course. I like to look good all the time. And so I was negotiating with God. I was in the hospital. I said, I would do nursing if you allowed me to have an office and I get to dress cute every day and I don't have to wear scrubs. And while I was in the hospital, I was offered a job as the director of nursing. And I'm like, look at God.
Miracle again.
Another miracle. I came out of the hospital. It took me a year to recover, but I stepped into the role as director of care, where I'm able to support women, because the majority of nurses, not all, but the majority are women. I'm able to pray with them.
Yeah.
I'm able to encourage them.
Yeah.
So.
And I know in nursing circle is it's like a community within that.
Exactly.
That circle of nurses where they need to find those who can inspire them.
Yes.
Mentor them, because that's their word. And God is using all of you to save life, whom patient can actually trust and relate to. So it's a big ministry.
It absolutely is. Just recently, a colleague, sent me an email to say that her son is not well. They discovered an illness and asked me to pray for him.
Yeah.
And I was able to send her a song of encouragement and pray for her son. And
wow.
you don't always get to do these things.
That's the ministry we're talking about.
You don't always get to do these things. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve.
And there's something that you're not telling me about your purpose also. I know you do go to missions.
I do. My husband and I have been on mission. It was such a blessing. I cannot even begin to tell you. You go to a mission thinking that you're going there to serve the people. But honestly, in doing the work, they're serving you. We went to the Dominican Republic. I don't speak Spanish.
Wow.
And we went to a little town, and these people opened up their homes. I was in their homes praying for them, praying with them, having someone translating the prayer. It was just a beautiful thing.
That's a ministry.
It was a beautiful thing.
That's a ministry. So that's awesome. So having said all this, I know that this is something you want your viewers to gain something and go with today. If there is anything you need to tell your viewers to learn from this in a short things. Can you please tell the viewers?
You know, what I would say to you is don't wait for a life crisis like I did. Don't wait for a life and death situation to create some urgency around your purpose. Learn to be still. Listen to that still voice in your heart and pursue it. Remember your little girl dream. We're on this earth to serve each other, to help each other. And so I would say don't be afraid. Yes, there's fear in stepping out of your comfort zone, but step anyways, because there's such joy and pleasure and purpose in stepping out of that comfort zone. That's what I would say.
Awesome. And then looking back, what legacy?
Oh my goodness, legacy.
This lesson, to impact life, and leave for future generation.
Well, honestly, by writing this book, I don't even have the book on Amazon because it really wasn't about making money, which I probably end up putting it on there at some point so they can reach more people. This book is really to share my story and to empower others to share their stories.
Yeah.
We all have a story.
We all have a story.
That's why I have a women's organization called My Sisters Are Stories. And it's a platform for women to share their stories of success despite adversities.
You need to go wake up that organization.
Yes. And so that's my legacy really is to show and help others to not be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Step out. Do what's on your heart to do. Try it. The only failure is not trying.
The only failure is not trying.
The only failure is not trying.
And also, I always say that, you may think that your story is too shameful to share.
Oh,
no,
my goodness.
Everybody has it there. That's why we are in it together. As women, when we express ourselves, share.
Yes.
We encourage one another.
100%.
And you're not alone. You're not alone.
And you might think that your story doesn't matter or that you can't tell others your story, but we're here to comfort and support each other.
That's it.
And you want to feel safe enough to share your story without judgment.
Without judgment.
Without judgment.
What is judgment? Who will judge who?
Exactly.
Because
which one of us is without sin? Yes. We all have something in the closet.
I remember when you were talking about when you were talking about living in a farm.
Yes.
We all came from somewhere.
Absolutely.
Somewhere. So it's just very interesting, very exciting. I'm so grateful that you bold enough to come out today to share, motivating, inspiring, and challenging other people out there who have the same thing to share. Please, let's wake up and speak out. By speaking, by sharing, you are healing in the process.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming to People Blessing Show, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And viewers, and I hope you will watch this and comment and share. Don't forget 7 life lessons leading to your purpose.
Yes, and I want to thank you for creating this platform for people to share.
Thank you so much.
And to just impart knowledge on the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And see you in the next episode, because definitely we're going to break this book to episodes. Okay? Thank you.
All right.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
This is People's Blessing Show with Reverend Blessing Ajayi.